Welcome to In the Fishbowl with Sue Fish. I am delighted to have with us today Mohammed Qahtani, who is the 2015 World Champion Speaker. And he is with us at the Londinium Conference and is about to give us his keynote speech. Mohammed, welcome.
Hi.
And thank you for joining us and congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. So tell us about your experience of becoming World Champion Speaker. How did you feel?
Well, I mean, when I was competing in Las Vegas, I wasn't really competing to win. I said to myself, I'm going to go there and see how it is, because it's not like I didn't have enough faith in myself, but it was my first time going, and I was actually the second place winner in the district where I came from. So I never thought that I really have a chance. Not that I don't have faith in myself, but I'm going to be against really tough people. But again, I said to myself, I'm just going to go there, have fun, enjoy the time. And everybody has a message, and this is my chance to give that message to as many people as I could. And I ended up winning a championship, which took me by storm. Till this day, there are days where I still can't believe that it actually happened.
And how did it change your life since you won?
Well, I mean, when I started Toastmasters back in 2009, the main reason I joined Toastmasters is I had a stammering problem, and a friend of mine told me that every time I stand in front of people and speak, it will go away, and that's actually true. That's actually what happened. So I joined Toastmasters solely for that. But then I discovered that I have a knack for jokes and to do humor speeches, so I started to compete in the humorous category. Then out of nowhere, I said to myself, maybe I should try also to do an international speech. So I just started recently, like 2014 was the first time I actually did a competition in the international speech contest. I didn't win up until I think the area level, but the year after, I made it all the way into the district. I got second place, and I was extremely proud of myself that from the second trial I can actually make it to the second place. Then the first place winner did not make it, so I was able to go. How it changed my life, again, I didn't expect to win, but now after I did, I'm getting a lot of requests from all over the world to come and share the story or inspire us or just give us like a workshop or whatever. And it's really hard, especially now that I have a full-time job, and it's a really hectic job to balance both. However, I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for my first club and for Toastmasters in general. And the least I could do is to give something back. And for that, I do take some time off from work, and I do travel and do all these events. My boss hates it, my wife hates it, my body hates it, but I still love it and enjoy it.
And you talk about humorous speeches. How important is the use of humour?
I actually found out, which is a trick. I found out even internationally, even if you have a strong speech but you don't inject any humor, there's no way that you're gonna win. I don't know why, but for me, humor comes easy. And the speech that I used in the qualifying round was actually my humor speech. A friend of mine said, you know what? Yes, it's funny, but you could add a thing at the end, like a message that everybody can just take home. And I did, but yes, humor is actually the biggest hook that you can use to grab your audience's attention. Everybody wants to laugh, so make them laugh, and at the end, just give them that message, and they will always remember that message. Good
tip there. And what's the funniest thing would you say has happened to you since you've become world champion?
The funniest thing?
Yeah.
Well, I get recognized in the street a lot now, and it's funny because I was walking down the mall the other day with my daughter and my son, and people just they start to come to me and, oh, Mohammed Qahtani, yeah, how are you doing? And we would like to take a picture with your son. So not with me.
Oh.
They want to take a picture with my son. I said, why? I said, because this is the guy who wrote on the wall, you know. So they can't just remember that speech. So yeah.
Okay. And what do you say it takes to be world champion?
Honestly, speak from the heart, and speak for the sole purpose of just letting your audience go home with a meaningful message. you've seen a lot of people when they go on stage and they start talking, and you can tell that they're faking something, or their sole purpose is just look at me, look how I sound, look how I appear on stage. And the last thing they worry about is the audience. Your audience should be your number one. You're not up there for yourself, you're up there for them. And when you speak from the heart, your audience can tell, and your audience can accept whatever you say. And I always say, every person's life is a message. If you tell me your life, I can learn something out of it. Look, I did this, don't do it. Or I did this and it works for me, maybe it works for you. Share that with them.
Great. And what advice would you give for perhaps our new Toastmasters in terms of encouraging them to enter in contests?
Okay. I mean, like, the first advice I'd like to give is, don't enter it for the wrong reason. Don't enter it just to win a trophy or a title. I mean, if you are in the competition just so one day you could be the world champion, you know that title is just for 1 year. The next year will be a new world champion, and all of a sudden nobody will know who you are. If you are in it to win a trophy, it's just a piece of glass. In fact, the trophy that I won is now in the trash. Because when I was flying back, in my luggage it got broken. And I called Toastmasters International asking if I could get, if I can get a new one, and they said no, they make this like it's a custom-made trophy, so I threw it away. Because what actually remains is people's impression and people's lives that could change because of something that you said. Enter the contest with that in mind. Every step you take in the contest, whether it's a club level, area, division, the crowd gets bigger and bigger, and this is your chance to give your message to a bigger crowd. Compete with that, and you'll find yourself just reaching to even like a bigger and like a larger audience, because people will love a person who speaks from the heart. So don't compete to win a trophy. Don't compete to just win a title. And if you compete and you don't win, always ask yourself why I didn't win. See, nobody makes the same mistake twice. You can make a new mistake, but you'll never make the same mistake twice. So every time you try and you don't win, just even ask those people around you why he was first place and I was in second or third. What did he have that I didn't have? And copy those people. And when I was competing in Las Vegas, I was even just looking at my speech later on, and I can see my fellow competitors from years before, and each one of them, I took something out of them. A movement, a hand gesture, a voice, even like a chosen word, because that's how we learn.
How long have you been a Toastmaster, and what inspired you to join in the first place?
I joined Toastmasters in 2009, and as I said earlier, what inspired me to join is I had a stammering problem, and I've been told by a dear friend of mine that speaking will actually help you out. In college, I used to go to stand-up comedy clubs, and I do comedy, so the stammering cannot start to go away. Then when I graduated from college and I went back home and I started working, I stayed away from stage for a while, so the stammering came back. So I was looking for something that I can do that would help me to be on stage, whether a theater or something. And I found something called Toastmasters, and I read about it, and you have a chance every week or every 2 weeks to give a speech, or actually just take anything for you to stand up and speak. And for me, that's like the perfect thing, because it's a regular dosage, and I can do it every week, like every other week. So I joined for that purpose only. But honestly, after I joined, I found out that it's a lot more than that. It's the biggest family in the world. Everywhere I travel, because I travel a lot because of my work, everywhere I travel, like whether Far East, US, I'm like anywhere. The first thing I do is I Google Toastmaster Club near me. And as soon as I walk through the door, you feel like home. And you feel like you know these people. You know, and instantly they become your friends. So it's beautiful how we all stand and help each other, regardless of where we're just coming from. I saw that clearly when I was competing in the finals. And like one of the speakers, I think, is either the fourth or the fifth speaker. And on stage, on the final stage, he started to have a mic problem. His mic was like breaking up. Now, all of us, the 10, were in the backstage. And usually if you are in any kind of competition, and something like this happened to your opponent, you'll be glad. You know, I mean, like, at least he will, like, now you have a chance to win. But what I saw, and I swear to God, this is exactly what happened. What I saw is all of them stood up and went to the guy who's in charge of the sound. And they were about to hit him. They said, you fix his mic right now. He cannot keep going like this. So this is what I mean by, like, we are one big family. And even though I won the championship, I still come back to my club. I still attend every week. I'm the VP of membership in my club, and I will still give back.
Great. And what's next for you? Where do you see yourself going?
Yeah, that's a question that a lot of people ask me, like, what's next for you? And for quite some time, I really didn't know what's next for me. But, like, it's a funny story. Right after I won, and they walked me to this big hall, and there's a lot of people who come to you to just take pictures with you and like autographs. And I was still kind of in shock and yet a bit proud that I got this trophy. So I put the trophy on the table and I keep just looking at it. And then this old lady comes to me with tears in her eyes. She said, son, I want you to know that what you said up there changed me. And I will be a better person because of you. And it's in that instant, that trophy meant nothing. Because that is what I want. So what's next for me? I would like to spread that word and spread, like, I keep inspiring as many people as I can. Maybe I can change someone's life. If I can just leave this earth knowing that somebody is living a better life because of something that I said, for me that's the easiest thing I can do. And yet it has the highest impact. So I'm traveling the world now. I'm going from a district to a district to give these workshops. And, even though I have a hectic job, but I still take days off just so I can actually just do this. And my boss hates it, my wife hates it, my body hates it. But I still love it, and I still love doing it, because what better purpose for you? What better legacy that you can leave in life, knowing is that maybe one day, you know, old, I can flip on the TV watching something, and then there's an interview with a guy or a girl. He's saying, you know what, I listened to a guy called Mohammed Qahtani a long time ago, and he changed me, inspired me to be where I am now. And for that, I would win.
Mohammed, thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
And keep inspiring. And some great tips there for our Toastmaster friends. Use humour, speak from the heart. Thank you for watching, and Mohammed, thank you,
Thank you
and
so much
good luck for your keynote.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well done.